Well, the crypto market has been taking an absolute beating today as it's now erased the majority of the gains that we saw from the last couple of days, leaving most investors honestly just in a daze, not knowing what's going on. How do we get here? Why did it get so bad? And so, what I wanted to do today is just to let you all know exactly what I think happened and what I'm doing next. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Tyler Hill, and I am one of the co founders of the Crypto Strategy School, one of the biggest schools in all of crypto. And I do post here on YouTube every single day, updating you on what's happening in the crypto market and the news and in the charts. And again, today we're going to go over how did we get here? Why did things get so bad? And what can we be expecting next? And so we have a lot to unpack. So let's not waste any more time at all and let's get straight into it. So what you can see here is, again, yeah, the crypto market's taking quite the beating. Everything is taking it. I mean, nothing's really being spared. You got XTZ, Near, PLSX, TIA, Gala, everything, meme coins, layer ones, layer twos, AI, all of it down today. Now, why did this happen? Let's first and foremost go over why did this happen. Well, I think there's a surface level reason as to why it happened, and then a conspiracy theorist under the surface level reason as to why it happened. Let me give you both. The fundamental reason, the surface level reason as to why this happened is because Donald Trump came out today and said that the tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China are going into effect starting tomorrow. These are, of course, up to 25% on certain things, and that obviously puts the economy in a bit of a weird spot. What you have to understand is that a tariff is going to basically be a tax on all imported goods within a certain niche from a specific country. In this example, again, Canada, Mexico, and China. And this means that people who are importing these things are going to have to pay a much higher price in order to import them. Now, the reason why this is a problem is because that cost, that increase in price that company is going to pay, will oftentimes get dished onto the consumer. They're just going to raise their prices. And obviously, if you start seeing a bunch of prices get raised all over the place, what is that? Inflation. And we all know the big bad wolf inflation is something the Fed and the economy's been worried about for several freaking months, even years at this point. And people are still, they're getting concerned. Are these taxes on Mexico and Canada and China, are they going to cause inflation to run? And if they do, is that going to cause, of course, the Fed to pivot the other way? Are they going to start quantitative tightening again? Are they going to start raising interest rates? What impact is this going to have on the economy? And that's creating a ton of uncertainty. There is already other data out there in the economy right now that certain things aren't performing so well, such as job claims and joblessness and much more. And so in a period where the economy is already a bit shaky, introducing these things that are going to likely cause inflation makes it even more shaky. And that's the reason why, of course, the market did dump today. There was a chance seemingly that these tariffs weren't going to go into place, but Trump said out of his own words, verbatim, there's nothing Canada and Mexico can do to get out of these tariffs. And will he probably go back on that at some point? Probably so. But for the time being, he hasn't. And that is why the market did get spooked. So from a surface level, that's why the market's down. Now, from an under the surface level, from a more conspiracy theorist perspective, I believe it was raw manipulation, and I told you all this yesterday. In yesterday's video, I said the truth. Is the crypto bull market actually back? And what I told you all was like, look, just because things are fantastic and things are good and they feel good doesn't mean that the bull market's guaranteed back. It might be, but that doesn't guarantee anything. We had seen no confirmations. We didn't see Bitcoin clear any macro levels of resistance, but everyone and all your favorite Twitter influencers were screaming that the banana zone is here and all this craziness. And I told you all, now's not the time to start opening up crazy big leverage trades. Now's not the time to get overly confident that the bull market's back. It could be, but now's not the time to get confident. We need to see confirmation still. We need to have this bull market confirmed to us and tell us, just flat out, we are back in a bull market. And we hadn't seen that yet. And so I told you all, in a moment where everybody's confident that the bull market's back and that it has to rally, and you're seeing liquidations building like crazy to the downside, don't be surprised if just because today is green, hey, tomorrow might be red. And well, what do you know? This is what we talked about just in yesterday's video. Feel free to go watch it yourself. We warned you about this exact move. And well, this is what we got. Now, again, I'm not saying I predicted that the market was going to fall. I'm just vastly aware that whenever you get big rallies like this, they might get followed by absolute dumps just because everyone gets greedy. They start opening up these gigantic leverage long trades, expecting the market to go up, creating these liquidations to the downside that these lizard people are licking their lips at. And next thing you know, the market falls to liquidate all those people. The same old story, just another day. And that's exactly what we saw from yesterday to today. But we'll go ahead and pretend that it was just because of the tariff news. But you and I both know it's much worse because of the manipulation behind the scenes, right? So knowing what happened, right? Now listen, we know how we got here. Tariffs, manipulation. I guess the next question is, well, what now? Right? What now? Because what's funny is that 4 or 5 days ago, all of your favorite Twitter influencers were saying that the market was for sure in a bear market. Then Trump pumps crypto, and now everyone's screaming that the bull market's back. And now crypto falls again, and now those same influencers are flip-flopping the other way, screaming that the bear market is here. And sure, is that a little bit valid, right? Is there a reason to believe that there is the possibility that the market might continue lower, right? And we might go to $70,000 or $60,000? Absolutely. But it's not confirmed that to me yet. At least as of the time of recording this video, it's not confirmed that to me yet. And I would actually be willing to say we are still in decision-making mode right now. I'm under the belief that Bitcoin is actually deciding as we speak whether or not this is going to be the beginning of a new move to the upside or not. I don't believe the pump that we saw is completely canceled quite yet. And the only reason that I say that is because there is still the opportunity for this trend to be turning upwards. As you can see here, we had a high, we had a lower high, we had an equivalent high, then a higher high. So clearly, on a more micro perspective from the February 26th all the way to now, we've seen a shift in trend. We were going in a downtrend, and now we're trying to create an uptrend. And all crypto needs to do right now, quite frankly, guys, is just set a higher low. If Bitcoin's price is capable of setting a higher low, there is still a possibility that it continues to try to rally. That this was a bull trap and that this is a bear trap. And that we end up in a situation in which we liquidated the shorts here, we liquidated the longs here, and now we try to push upwards to continue to liquidate all the rest of the shorts that are still building up to the upside because, I mean, you can see it yourself. Look how many there are. There aren't many liquidations that'll happen to the downside, but there's still over 13 billion to the upside. And so there is still a possibility that this market tries to rally. There is still the possibility that Bitcoin tries to push back up to $100,000, especially considering the amount of liquidations that are available up there. And so I'm not amongst the party of people who are saying for sure that, oh, well, no, this was, that was just a pump and dump. It's all over. It's all gone. There's no way to recover. No, I'm not in that party. Because at the end of the day, until Bitcoin comes back down and sets a lower low, we are now seeing the trend change. Objectively speaking, we are in the first half of an uptrend, which is the higher high. The second half is a higher low. And if we can make that happen, again, Bitcoin could still be in position to try to make this move upwards. Is it going to be hard? Of course it's going to be hard, guys. Is it going to be difficult for the bulls to gain some momentum after what we saw today? Absolutely. What's going to cause that? I don't know, quite frankly. But I do know that when everyone is screaming that something must happen, that Bitcoin must go down because of what we saw today, that is one of the moments where I am gonna, start eyeing the possibility of it moving upwards. And that's what I'm doing right now. So Tyler, what's the plan? Well, what I actually did is I did go in and I did a little bit of buying today. Okay. So remember how I told you I bought a little bit, not even really a little bit, over in the school. I mean, you can see it. I bought quite a bit of Bitcoin over the last week, right? You see how, let's go back a little bit more, but you see how we were buying Bitcoin at 83K. We bought Bitcoin at 82K. We bought Bitcoin at, let's see, the next one is 80,000 there, 80.8 thousand there, 79,000 here. So you see how I was doing a lot of buying on Bitcoin throughout the pullback to the downside? Well, then yesterday I took all that initial investment back out. Well, what I'm doing is I'm actually reinvesting the initial investment that I pulled yesterday. So I bought right here. I was in profit up here. I took my initial investment out and left the profit in. Well, now that prices are back down here, I'm taking some more of the cash that I invested in here and redeploying it back where we are now. I hope that was simple enough for you to understand. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually taking 10% of the capital that I invested throughout this pullback that I sold yesterday and reinvesting it right now. As you can see, I made an announcement over in the school earlier that I was going to be investing that 10%. I did 70% of that into Bitcoin, 25% broken up against ETH, Sol, ADA, and XRP, and 5% allocated to Ondo and Sui. And my strategy right now, guys, is to just play the game. Option number one is that Bitcoin's going to find a higher low. It's going to continue upwards, and it's going to continue to liquidate all of these short traders who are sure by God that the price is going to go down. And then if that is the case, guess what? When we get back up here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just take profits off the table just like I did back here. If Bitcoin continues lower and we start to continue to the downside, all of that cash that I took, all that, that cash that I pulled right here, I'm going to continue to deploy it the lower and lower that Bitcoin gets in order to capitalize on that possible pullback before we do eventually get another relief rally, which I do think is going to happen. So my strategy is very simple. Everyone's scared, everyone's worried, everyone's fearful, so I'm going to start buying. And the lower Bitcoin goes, the more I'm going to buy, exactly like we did last week, because I do think another opportunity like what we saw a couple of days ago is going to happen. I think we're going to see some relief, and when that time does come, that'll be another opportunity to take some profits off the table, or to just take all initial investment out and just have even more free crypto, right? Even more free profit. And it's very simple. In a moment like this, where there's absolute chaos in the market, in my opinion, the best thing to do is to simplify things simplify things down as much as possible. And that's my strategy. You see how my strategy is not overcomplicated. It's not even really confusing. It's just, okay, buy when it's red, take the initial investment out when it's green, leave the profit in to see what happens. And then if it dumps, reinvest some of that cash back in. And I'm just going to do this over and over and over again. I did this throughout the last bear market, and I'm going to do it through this one. Whether this is a bear market or just a boring phase of the bull market, it doesn't matter to me. It's a very simple strategy. When times feel like right now, as of recording, bad, I buy. When things feel good and everyone's screaming the bull market's back and we're in the banana zone, I sell. Very simple stuff here, guys. Okay. And so, again, that's my strategy. That's where we are. That's very simple. The bull market is not confirmed to be over. This crash is not confirmed to be continuing. This pump that we saw from Trump's announcement is not confirmed to be over. It's not over until the fat lady sings. And what I'm looking for is whether or not Bitcoin can set the higher low or not, because that's the decision that will impact this market completely. If Bitcoin sets the higher low and tries to continue, bull market very well may be in full effect. And we could still be building up some sort of more macro move that could lead Bitcoin towards the $105,000, $110,000 level. But if Bitcoin does continue downwards and we do first see the golden zone loss, which would mean Bitcoin would have to fall below $81,500. If we see Bitcoin lose $81,500 and then eventually $78,000, then yeah, of course, right? We're probably headed back down towards some of your lower levels. I would say it's reasonable to assume that Bitcoin would try to head somewhere, possibly, guys, as low as, $70,000 to $67,000 or so. So do you see the vast difference there? Where if Bitcoin does set the higher low, we could go to 105K. If it fails, we could go down to 67K. That's why I'm telling you. Don't get too confident right now and so sure that the market's for sure going to dump or for sure going to pump, because that decision is being made as we speak. And whatever happens at this low is going to tell us everything we need to know. So the best thing to do right now is sit back and watch. Let Bitcoin play out. Be patient. Impatience is expensive in a market like this. I told you that over on Twitter earlier today. If we actually head over to my Twitter, you can see what I mean. Boom. Let's go here. So we were talking about this on Twitter, and I told you, listen, sure, these bottoms, they take a little while to build. They're not fast, right? Let this play out. If it's going to dump, let it dump. And well, that's what happened. And I told you, impatience is expensive. And I think that's the moment that we're in right now. Be patient. Let this play out. Let Bitcoin decide if it's going to set that higher low or not, because that's then what's going to determine the direction that this market's going to go. And while that is playing out, I'm just slowly deploying some capital, deploying a little bit here. If we go lower, I'll deploy a little bit more there, a little bit more there, and I'll ride it down to the bottom. And well, if it just keeps going down, oh well, I swung and I missed, and it just is what it is, right? So that's my strategy. Very calm, very simple. Now, don't forget, if you do want to get ahead, right, and if you're trying to understand all this and maybe all these things that I'm saying are getting a little bit confusing, all I want you to do is head to the link down below, go download your free beginner's guide, go download your free Beyond the Basics guide, and just start learning up. This is the perfect moment to grow your knowledge, to grow your understanding of the market. When the market is bad, again, we don't run away from it, we lean into it. And that doesn't mean that you need to go buying as much crypto as you can, but just increase that brain, right? Get more of an understanding of how this works, refine your strategies, and get a deeper understanding of how you would like to invest, because it'll give you an advantage when the market does eventually return. So go get those 2 free guides. Head to the link down below. If you do want to join the school and see all of the things that I'm buying and selling and get coaching and classes and live streams and workshops and much more, you can sign up for as little as $5 a month, which is linked down below. Guys, there's people in this community making money even on days like today, right? When everything feels bad, we have people in here getting 200% gains, 100%, 290, 500, 300, 150, 186, 218%. I mean, the gains are being printed even on days like this. So if you want to go join in, that's available for you. And the last thing I will tell you is, if you're an experienced trader who knows what they're doing, head to the link down in the description below and go get a 10% bonus on all first-time deposits between $500 and $100,000 with that link to BTCC down below. Very sleek, very good platform. It's one that I like to trade on. But again, that's only if you are advanced or an intermediate. If you're a beginner, leave leverage trading alone. Okay. So with that in mind, that's kind of where we are right now. I'm slowly deploying some capital. That's why the market fell. And yeah, I think that's about everything for you. So just again, I know it's a hard time in the market, and I know it can be very, very just demeaning and frustrating and demoralizing to some degree. But in periods like this, again, the people who lean into the market and who learn more and refine their strategies and dollar cost average, oftentimes, right? They're the ones who end up ahead when this market does turn back around. It'll have its day. Its day will come where it turns back around. No one knows how long it's going to take. And that's the game that we play. So lock in, load up. We'll be all right. Everything's going to be fine. Now is not the time to run away, though. Okay. Now is not the time to run away. It's time to lean in. So let me know in the comment section down below. What are you focused on? Are you trying to just get your bags bigger on the red days? Are you trying to learn a new indicator, trying to learn a new strategy? What is it that you're trying to grow right now? Because that's what I want you to focus on. Focus on growth while the market's like this so that your gains are amplified when the market turns around. Of course, check out all those links in the description below. And again, I just keep telling you because it's free, guys. Go get those beginner and intermediate guides. They are down below completely for free for you. Go check those out. Follow me on Twitter, and I can't wait to see you all in the morning. Peace out, everybody.